Many people have trouble falling asleep at least some of the time, and an estimated 15% of adults find it hard to fall asleep most nights. While some sleep difficulties ultimately require medical treatment, establishing healthy sleep habits can make it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. Regularly reading before bed is one habit that is budget-friendly, easy to do, and accessible to people of all ages. Reading, but not too late, can help you fall asleep faster. On average, most adults take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to fall asleep. This is known as sleep latency, or how quickly you fall asleep. While some people naturally fall asleep easily, many others need more help drifting off, and reading a book can be a great way to promote sleepiness. A recent study compared the results of reading before bed versus not reading before bed, and found that 42% of the group that read before bed reported feeling that their sleep improved, while only 28% of the group that didn't read before bed noted any sleep improvements. Reading before bed can reduce stress. There's an age-old reason why reading a book in bed is part of so many children's nighttime routines. Reading puts us in the right headspace for a good night's sleep. Similar to how physical exercise strengthens the body, cognitive exercises, like reading, are important to strengthen the mind. Strong cognitive function can help reduce mental chatter, which in turn helps us drop into a quiet state of relaxation. Reading a book or actively listening to a story are two ways to keep the mind engaged. When reading, you are forced to construct, to produce narrative, and to imagine, says Marianne Wolf, director of the Center for Reading and Language Research at Tufts University. Typically, when you read, you have more time to think. Reading gives you a unique pause button for comprehension and insight. The act of engaging our imaginations with a paperback allows us to enter an altered state of consciousness. While our mind is quite literally lost in the words, our body gets the chance to rest and relax. And when the body is more relaxed, it becomes easier for us to wind down and drift off. Why reading before bed is better than scrolling your phone or watching TV. What do most people do at night when they're not reading? They scroll on their phones, and sometimes mindlessly. We're all guilty of it, Hall says. Before long, half an hour has passed, and we're still glued to the glass rectangle feeling more awake than before we picked up our phone. Since cell phones emit blue light as mentioned above, Hall explains that even a quick 10-minute scroll on your phone can confuse your internal body clock, or circadian rhythm. Hall says the same can be said for watching TV. When this happens, melatonin levels drop and alertness increases, making it difficult to fall asleep, she explains. Secondly, the content of what you watch can also affect your sleep quality. If you watch violent or intense programming before bedtime, it can cause nightmares, which can lead to poor sleep quality and chronic insomnia. If you're really determined to get better sleep, be disciplined about stopping screen time about 2 hours before bed. Instead of scrolling, make a conscious effort to stop using your phone by 8 p.m. if you plan on sleeping at 10 p.m., and pick up a physical book instead, she says. Reading can boost cognitive function. While reading is an enjoyable activity, it's also an excellent brain exercise with a similar effect to working on a puzzle or crossword. It helps improve memory and boost overall cognitive function, keeping your mind sharp and agile. Studies show that frequent reading in general, any time of day, is associated with a reduced risk of cognitive decline. And Dr. Sherpa says reading can improve critical thinking skills. Over time, reading helps to strengthen neural pathways and can support mental health by reducing stress, improving memory, and enhancing creativity, she explains. Reading improves the brain's ability to process information quickly and keeps it sharp as we age. So, what does this have to do with sleep? Quality sleep is critical to cognitive function and vice versa, which means boosting one can boost the other. Hall also explains that the act of reading a book can exercise different parts of your brain at the same time, such as visual, auditory, and emotional. It forces these parts to work together to create images of what's being read, hear voices speaking the words aloud, and feel emotions associated with certain scenes or characters, she explains. This process helps strengthen neural connections between these different brain regions so that when you need access to that specific information later on, it's easier to recall. How not to read before bed. Where sleep is concerned, how we read is very important, namely, avoiding reading on screens. Electronic screen time before bed can do a number on our sleep, but it's important to understand that screens themselves aren't the problem. Rather, it's the shortwave blue light they emit. So, if we're part of the 90% of Americans using your phone before bed to skim the news, browse status updates, or even read a novel, we're not necessarily setting ourselves up for a good night's sleep. Research shows that blue light from screens not only shortens overall sleep time, but it can also interfere with the production of melatonin, a hormone that's key in regulating our circadian rhythm, also known as our body clock, which regulates between our wake and sleep cycle. When melatonin production is thrown off, we're likely to experience restless sleep. A top sleep hygiene tip to avoid blue light from screens is to unplug an hour before bedtime. Or, if reading on your phone is crucial to one's nighttime routine, it's recommended to avoid blue light for at least 30 minutes before dozing off. Even more effective, consider dimming the lights, since artificial light can mess up a healthy sleep-wake cycle. It's one simple example of how sleep hygiene can help us set the conditions for a more sound sleep. Fortunately, various settings on most devices and apps can reduce problematic blue light by replacing it with weak red light, a feature that can be enabled to shift gradually as the sun goes down. This simple setting switch, especially when boosted by daytime blue light blockers like protective screens, specialty light bulbs, or tinted glasses, reduces the damage to the suppression of melatonin. This gives the brain a clear signal to put the mind to bed. Meditation and reading before bed. We've put away our blue light-emitting devices. There's a paperback in our hands. We're seated comfortably at the top of our bed with legs underneath the covers and a lamp beaming a soft light onto book pages. There's just one distraction. The mind is cluttered, our focus is foggy, and the urge to grab our phone is testing our patience. For many, picking up a book is not enough to escape the worries and stress of the world. If we can't calm an overactive mind, immersing ourselves in a story might feel like a tough feat. However, if we can reduce the mind wandering, we can improve our ability to focus on a specific task. Meditation is a practice, like reading, that can help strengthen the mind. Just like repetitions of push-ups over time can make us stronger, repetitions of mindfulness exercises can improve cognitive function, ability to focus, and productivity. In fact, another study found that 15 minutes of mindfulness meditation had a highly significant impact on the ability to reduce mind wandering. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.